Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the moon conjunct Chiron in a natal chart. Now, if you have, well, first off, I want to state is, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart. They're a little bit concise, and some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up, if you have the moon conjunct Chiron in your natal chart, there may be a very intense need, which is the moon, to help and heal, which is Chiron, others. Now, let's say if you have your Chiron in Leo, helping and healing others may simply be in matters of self-confidence and self-assuredness, getting the attention and recognition that one deserves. It could be with creative interests or matters pertaining to children. As some examples, having the passion, for things, love. It could be, doing something, even Leo related, whether it can be, a field connected with Leo, such as something, with creative endeavors or cardiology, work with children, especially if this falls in the, second or sixth or 10th house in a natal chart, which are the money houses, of course, or it could be, field connected with the military or entertainment, even product demonstration, because that involves, boasting things up. And it could be also too, if you have the moon conjunct Chiron in a natal chart, another way it may manifest is that, you may be, physical related wounds, which is Chiron. It could be with the breast, the chest, the stomach, the ribs, or the left or right eye, which is the moon, depending on gender. If you have the conjunction in Pisces, it may be, with moon being in Pisces, vision, may be blurry or nebulous or unclear. I would say Gemini, may be double vision in some cases. If there's any, issues, like say if you have Chiron in Aries, if there's any physical related wounds connected with the breast, the chest, the stomach, or ribs, it could be where it's very sharp and very quick, type of pain. And Taurus might be, more stubborn, more persistent, more obstinate pain, so to speak. Now, another thing about this aspect in a natal chart, the moon conjunct Chiron could be expressed in having where healers, which is Chiron, may be very drawn to your unconscious side, which is the moon. Now, if the moon is in Gemini, as an example, that unconscious side may be one that's very versatile, multifaceted, could be one that's quick-witted, communicative, loquacious, could be one that's very witty, um, but yet maybe a changeable quality as well, mercurial side to the nature. Now, another thing too, about the moon conjunct Chiron, it may manifest in having, the very, being intensely emotional and emotionally vested in terms, well, or very emotional, I should say, which is moon over, whatever suffering it might be, whether it could be physical or emotional, suffering. Which is Chiron. Now, if Chiron is in Scorpio, as an example, there may be some, emotional suffering that's connected with sexual related matters or deep psychological issues, difficulties in terms of transformation or dealing, there may be some ineptitude in terms of dealing with crisis and upheaval. If Chiron is in Aquarius, there may be some, emotional suffering that's tied in with friendships, with goals, aspirations, the future. Um, it could be, group-related matters. Maybe there's some difficulty ingratiating with groups or society. there may be and if it's in Chiron is in Aquarius, it could be physical related suffering connected with the ankles, the shins, the calves, lower legs, nerves. If Chiron is in Gemini, there may be physical related issues, suffering connected with the arms, the hands, the nerves, shoulders, lungs, breathing as some examples. And the thing about this too is if you have this aspect in your natal chart, there may be depleted self-esteem, which is Chiron connected with the home and family, which is the moon. Now, if the moon is in Scorpio, say, it could be a family situation that's like has a lot of upheavals, crisis, one that's turbulent, tumultuous, where there's a lot of again a lot of upheaval, a lot of it could be where a lot of powerful emotions are expressed, to say the least. It might be maybe it's dealing with manipulative family members in some cases, but also too, moon conjunct Chiron in a natal chart can also be about being extremely sensitive, which is the moon, to the deepest wound, which is Chiron. Chiron is in Sagittarius, say. The deepest wound may be tied in with one's philosophy or belief system. Maybe there's some issues with going outside the box, expanding horizons, abstract thinking. There may be some kind of issues, with college, higher education, because I believe Chiron can be about, insecurities as well. And this could be, that is some ways that it may be expressed. Now also too, this this aspect can also be about, it could be where there may be the deepest wound may also cause more restlessness, which is the moon. The moon is in Gemini. You're talking about, it could be a lot more restlessness, because Gemini is a sign that could be restless, and the moon has a connection with that. Now, my moon is in Gemini, but my Chiron doesn't conjoin. I actually feel pretty fortunate because I have Chiron in Aries making a sextile to my natal moon in Gemini. But anyway, another thing about this aspect is that you may strongly express your feelings, which is the moon, about your insecurities, which is Chiron. Now, if Chiron is in Aries, there may be some insecurity tied into one's identity, and maybe matters with being aggressive, forceful, or assertive. There may be issues or difficulty in that expression. It could be about, there might be some insecurity tied in. Maybe there's some inability or an ineptitude about standing up, for oneself. In some examples, issues with courage or taking initiative as some examples. Now, another thing too is that this aspect may also emphasize responding, which is the moon, to pain and anguish, which is Chiron, of others. Now, if there's let's say Chiron is in Taurus, there may be some kind of pain or anguish that someone's dealing with, that you're helping out with it, with the monetary situation, or just with values, self-worth and self-esteem, issues with persistence, with showing perseverance, and issues, patience. And also too, if you have this aspect, you may be very emotionally, which is the moon, vested in finding the key, which is Chiron, to dealing with suffering. And again, that's connected with Chiron as well. Now, say if Chiron is in Virgo, there may be, suffering just simply because you wanted things to be so perfect and infallible, and the key itself maybe to understand that you're actually maybe closer to being perfect and infallible by not being such an accepting, certain failings and shortcomings, whether it's of yourself or others. And another thing too about this aspect, it could also be about healing, which is Chiron, with the public, or in the home, which is the moon. If the moon is in Libra, or that the conjunction being in Libra, it could be something with chiropractic work, actually physical related healing because Libra is connected with the lower back. Let's say, if this is an Aquarius conjunction, might be healing, helping others through, maybe it's something with computer repair in the home, something with electronics, or even astrology in some cases. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.